Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda said the target for NATO member states to spend 2% of their gross domestic product on defence was generally insufficient in the present geopolitical environment. This mirrors the Polish President Andrzej Duda's proposal of raising the mandatory defence spending threshold to 3% of GDP for NATO countries. 2%, even as a minimum limit, is too small and not adequate to the task in the current geopolitical situation, Nausėda said during a joint press conference with Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte in Vilnius. We expect from the candidates to NATO Secretary General to encourage and to pressure NATO countries which have not yet for the moment reached 2% gross domestic product. So I'll do this again. We expect from the candidate for NATO Secretary General to encourage and to pressure the NATO countries which have not for the moment reached the 2% gross domestic product defence spending level to do so as quickly as possible. And, more generally, to realise that 2%, even as a minimum limit, is too small and not an adequate task in the current geopolitical situation.
This year, the Netherlands is providing more than €2 billion in military support to Ukraine. In total, we committed, since February 2022, €6.3 billion in military support. And we have signed a 10-year security agreement committing ourselves to Ukraine's security and freedom for the longer term. And therefore we decided to contribute to the Czech Republic's initiative to deliver artillery shells to the Ukrainian armed forces as soon as possible. With €250 million, we are the second largest contributor after Germany to this initiative. And we are working hard to deliver the F-16s, which are so important to help Ukraine gain air superiority over its territory.
Rutte, a candidate for the position of NATO Secretary General, reaffirmed his country's support for Ukraine and stated that his country is providing more than €2 billion in military support for Kiev this year. He added, Lithuania shares borders with the EU and NATO, and mentioned that Dutch forces will conduct an exercise with a Patriot Air Defence Unit in Lithuania this summer.
Let me say once again, Lithuania's borders are EU and NATO borders, and that makes them our borders too. So let there be no doubt, in Moscow or anywhere else, we will defend them. In this regard, it's good to mention that the Dutch armed forces are currently making preparations for a Patriot Air Defence Unit to conduct an exercise in Lithuania this summer. The Russian threat from the air continues unabated. So it is essential that we keep NATO's collective deterrence and defence in order, including in the air.